Hey kids, Inverted Cow here, and welcome back to Empyrion multiplayer. Yes, I'm back here on the server playing a little bit. Empyrion has done a couple of updates since my last video and has somewhat fixed some of the problems, particularly the glitchy capital vessel problems have been resolved. The server hosts and administrators are working on fixing the remaining non-functioning planets and moon issues. I went to our moon and finally our POIs have returned. However, I now have to wipe out a couple of them in order to secure the entrance to the Wally portal, so that's something that's going to go on my list. About my last video, yes, I was very, very, very frustrated and angry when I recorded it, and I apparently hurt a few people's feelings. Honestly, tough shit. No, I'm not going to apologize. It's what y'all thought was coming, is I'm going to apologize and I'm sorry and please don't feel. No, I'm not. You know something? I honestly, I have high expectations. I realize that. High expectations of myself. I have high expectations of everybody else. I'm still very frustrated with a lot of the things that I talked about in that video, particularly game related. However, that was not the place to vent them. Well, it was and it wasn't. Because if you know me, one of the things is when my enough of this crap line is crossed, well, I come out swinging. I am going to let you know little personal issues. As many of you know, I haven't been employed for almost a year. I'm a general contractor by trade. Usually I am working in commercial construction, building banks and high schools and old age homes and that sort of thing. And there hasn't been any work out here for several years, and the last job I had ended a year ago. A big part of the problem that I'm stressed out about, and part of the reason I've been very short-tempered lately to a lot of people, and is the only reason I'm apologizing in any way, shape, or form to being crass to anybody, is the fact that I am under an exceptional amount of stress. As of today, my unemployment insurance ran out, so I actually have absolutely zero income. Okay, that was just way too cool. I am working on trying to get employed at this time, and I'm looking at taking on a minimum wage job. So yeah, you can see my stress, but at the same time, a third of my paycheck is better than no paycheck at all. So back to the game, if I can. Now you understand why I'm stressed, and I hope you can understand and bear with me a little bit, as yeah, I'm probably way too angry and I'm way too stressed, and I game for fun, and the last thing I need is people kind of being pricks, myself included. And yeah, well, I tell people that I am a prick, and that's the way it goes. So back to the game. I just finished drilling a new tunnel through the mountain from this side of the farm straight through. Let's bring up F6 here and you can see, oops, that's not F6, that's F5. There we go, F6. straight through to the gunboat starter base. It's in very rough shape, and it's not overly beautiful. However, the other tunnel entrance, I keep missing the entrance inside the tunnel, and it's frustrating me a lot. Yes, I'm still scavenging around on the planet. Somebody went and knocked out a couple of the POIs over on the far side of that hill, and they haven't regenerated yet. And I believe it's strictly because nobody else has been on except me since those were knocked down, and I went in and I cleaned them all out. So I'm going to craft up a bit of concrete here. There we go. Order up a bunch of concrete and let that run for a bit. I've got a bunch of assorted stuff from doing some looting. I've been grinding golems and that sort of nonsense for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 days on and off. And I really haven't been too inspired to do anything. The hit to the station that I was trying to build knocked me back a lot. Not having the ability to go and mine for Wally right now is also frustrating me. I'm gonna make a house, make stairs. And lights. Thank you. Gotta use flashlights to walk around. So yeah, that's been kind of annoying, not being able to do the things that I need to do on the game to actually make this faction function. Was a bit of a setback for me. And you. Some of these, and some of these. And I think that should be it. Wow, okay, what's with all the spoiled food? Or was somebody stocking food in here that they weren't supposed to be? Don't know. So that can cook for a bit. So today, yeah, I'm just kind of prattling on and doing my thing. I haven't quit completely. I did take 2 weeks off away from gaming to try and deal with some personal life issues, including the money issue that I mentioned earlier. A lot of people say, you know, real life comes first, that kind of thing. But honestly, oops. Did I shut this off completely? Come on, jump. Oh. Yes, I did. Okay. I shut it off completely because I can't get out of the cockpit. That's why. There, now you can cook. Main thrusters off. Will that hold you still for a few minutes? Pretty sure I have or had a drill in one of these. These random boxes of crap. I am collecting some small vessel parts. I have to go back to space and see if I can actually rescue what remains of the little rescue ship. But, well, we'll see. That's something I probably won't do today. Probably won't get around to that at all in the next day or so. Okay, so that's got to cook. I'm going to throw those plants in here. Yeah, so we're just doing a lot of little busy work around on the planet here. I know I haven't seen a couple of the other guys on for a while. Most of them, I think, have given up on the game entirely. And as I mentioned on my last video, I know some of the guys, Chaotic, for example, he's only able to play part-time. And that kind of makes it difficult for him to actually get any real projects done. He is working on the airfield or starport type thing, planetary capital vessel landing spot, and I would kind of hoping to see that get finished. I know Leviticus was working on that. The mining factory, and it is mostly done, but he hasn't talked to me about it since. I don't know how much furthermore he has to do, kind of decoratives or lighting or anything else that needs to go into it. I have seen it powered up. I was a little concerned that there was 6 tier 3 fuel tanks in there, all loaded up to the nuts with fuel, when we're having a hard time struggling to keep even enough fuel to just run a small hover vessel like this for any length of time. So maybe we have to discuss priorities, I'm not sure. I'm going to just kind of work my way back through this tunnel here. I have to come back out and mine on it some more, but I need to go and see if I can scrounge a little bit more fuel for this ship, as I am back on fumes again. And I will probably end up having to do is go grind some golems. Speaking of grinding golems, they have finally fixed the grinder's hitbox so that it actually does impact things in front of you again, so you don't have to sit there with your crosshairs on everything that you're working on. Why can you not stay upright? Seriously. This is still a very rough drill tunnel. Probably thought I did about 2 or 3 hours worth of drilling with this ship. I know we do have a tunnel vessel in here someplace. Actually, at the other end, there's a tunnel vessel, and I could probably have taken that through here and got a little bit nicer tunnel, a lot nicer tunnel. But that's okay. I'm going to work on this on and off, probably come through here by hand a couple of times and lay some brick. If I can get back out, I would be a happy person. Come on. Like, how does this thing hook on every little scratch of dirt? It's like they replaced or repaired the hitbox on the grinder, but I think they altered the hitbox on the drills and everything again, so now if you look at a stone the wrong way, it catches on them. So I'll have to deal with that, I guess. I'll probably go through there. Like I said, I'll go through there a couple of times. I want to drill it up, widen it out. I'd actually like to get it wide and large enough to actually put this unit here through. Because they fixed the grinders, I went and I put the grinder package back on here. And it turns out that I was incorrect on my assumption that you could put these sideways and they would work. They don't. However, stacking them like this does a really nice job on golems and spiders. It's basically 5 grinders facing forward. Anything that they runs into is turned into hamburger. And yeah, I took that out and went and ground golems, so it's probably got a little bit of fuel in the tanks. But I'm going to cut here. I'm going to do a little work on this tunnel. I'll probably bring you back in a bit after I've done something on that, and we'll see how it goes. But more than likely, I think that's going to be it. This is just a quick update, actually, I think. A quick update to let you know that I am still playing on this game. Even though I was rage quitting last time, I haven't totally given up. And I have to admit, I appreciate both Spange, Disturbed, and Magic for their offers. I guess actually all 3 of them for their offers to join their factions. And yeah, it is very, very tempting to simply let the Mercenaries faction go and go join up with a faction with some other players, ones that are active, ones that are more on the same thought waves that I'm at, and that kind of thing. I will be suggesting to Wolf that at the next server reset or anything like that, that we consider having it so that faction leaders don't have to take every person that signs onto their planet. You know, if you start, you take a start on the game, you start on a neutral location, and then you have an opportunity to actually apply to factions according to the faction, discussing things with the people in the faction and that sort of thing, to try and eliminate some of the problems that not just myself but some of the other players have been having, some of the other faction leaders have been having, where they have people who just don't know anything about gameplay or the game or the way they play or the way the faction functions or the way anything else functions, and they just join up and say, ooh, this is fun because I like the name, and they really are not suited to playing in that faction. In fact, I don't think there is one faction on the server that has said that all the players in their faction are people that know how to play according to the way the faction is managed. I could probably have Dream from the Wolves sit here and go on for days about some of the some of the fun that he's having with some of the people in his faction as well. Although it is Wolf's faction, Dream is basically he's the faction manager. Everything happens that he says happens, and that's all there is to it. I know Disturbed and Spange have both indicated the same kind of issues. Maybe not on this playthrough, but in past ones as well, where they've had people that they just don't know the faction ways. I can't speak for Magic because I haven't really talked to him, because honestly I've only seen him twice or communicated with him twice since the server came active. But I know the Freelancers, I believe, which is his faction. I could be mistaken. It's confusing for me, the two. It's either the Freelancers or the Nomads. I think he's the Nomads, actually. Are having a serious staffing crisis. A lot of players don't want to play as Nomad, which is really kind of terrible, because if you like to just build a ship and fly around in space, well, that's the faction for you. Which, believe it or not, is very much my play style. But thanks all for watching, kids. I'm going to say enough ranting, enough rambling, and enough, playing around with stuff. And I'll see you all in the next episode. Probably won't be daily, at least until something starts happening, unless we start getting some server events or anything like that. But it will be again. Please enjoy some of the other series that I'm running. I will be attempting to get Long Dark playing again for a bit, and I did do a couple of games that I picked up on Steam. I've had another game recommended to me that I've been seriously considering looking into, and I got way too carried away on a free game recently. That was just way too much fun. It's just a demo game, but it's a lot of fun, and I will be probably doing something on that in the future as well, particularly once it updates, gets a little bit closer to finished. So anyhow, thanks all for watching, kids, and good night.